Let's set the scene, shall we? It's 1984. Christmas is just around the corner, and you're a snot-nosed little kid just sitting in front of the TV. Nothing else to do. It's a Saturday morning. Now, you've been a good kid. I mean, sometimes you screw up a little bit. Sometimes you're a shithead. But for the most part, you've been a pretty good kid this year. And then all of a sudden, a ad comes on TV that shows a dude dressed up as Santa Claus killing people with an axe. Now, you're a little kid. Little kids are dumb. This imagery just seeps its way into your imagination, works its way into your mind, starts churning up in there, blending, all kinds of horrible stuff starts conjuring up in your brain. Suddenly, Christmas doesn't seem like such a great idea. And the idea of jolly old Saint Nick climbing down your chimney kind of makes you want to shit your pants. Now, this is a very real scenario that took America by storm in 1984, leading to one of the biggest controversies of that entire year. This was Silent Night, Deadly Night.
You've made it through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas. Silent Night, Deadly Night, rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
And while it was by no means the first Christmas-themed slasher movie, that title goes to Black Christmas from 1974, Silent Night, Deadly Night leaned really heavily into the Killer Santa ad campaign. You know, such as the iconic poster of like Santa's arm sticking out of the chimney with an axe in it, or the tagline, "He knows when you've been naughty." Also, side note, this movie was originally called Sleigh Ride, like S-L-A-Y Ride. I'm not gonna lie, that's a better title. I really like that title. That's way better than Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now consider that when you go to the mall to take your kid to, like, you know, sit on Santa's lap, usually that Santa is like an underpaid employee working for like the mall who gets minimum wage. He's like a stoner. He really doesn't want to be there. But like to that child, that's Santa. Like that is Santa Claus. That kid doesn't know any better. So when your ad campaign starts showing Santa killing people on TV and little Jimmy sees it and goes, they're going to think that's what's really going on. Not only were parents protesting this thing when it came out, but even Siskel and Ebert, when they got their hands on it and they did their review show, they called it one of the most deplorable things they'd ever seen.
Silent Night, Deadly Night now has the distinction of joining I Spit on Your Grave as one of the two most contemptible films I've seen. And I don't mean to think it's campy. It really is quite awful.
Like someone that wiped their ass with a shoe and called it a donut. Like they acted like it was the worst thing ever. But come on, was it really that bad? Did it really deserve all of that? The movie opens with little Billy and his family on a road trip to see his grandpa, who's clearly suffering from like dementia or Alzheimer's or something. But it's arguably one of the funniest parts of the movie because the mere second Billy is left alone with him, he's like,
Grandpa?
Christmas Eve is the scariest damn night of the year. I'd be scared too if I was you. You know what happens Christmas Eve, don't you? You know all about Santa Claus. All the naughty ones. He punishes.
you know, if I ever make it to that age and I ever have grandkids, knock on wood, that's the kind of shit I'm going to do. Like 100% that's the kind of grandparent I'm going to be. If I can get away with doing that kind of stuff and people are just like, oh, don't worry about it, Grandpa's just old. Yeah. Man, poor kid. Granddaddy already ruined Christmas. There's no way it could get worse than that. A few years have passed and now Billy and his little brother are in an orphanage run by this bitch of a nun. Man, it's actually kind of tragic when you think about it. A lot of these slasher movies don't really dabble in why the killer turns out the way they do. Not to this extent anyway, but I mean, your grandpa screws with your mind, then a Santa Claus murders your parents and assaults your mom in front of you, then you get sent to an orphanage where getting beaten is a regular occurrence. Like, god damn, that's gonna leave some stuff for a therapist to work out later, you know? Also, little Billy's got a mean left hook because he sent that dude fucking flying into the atmosphere. After another time jump, Billy, played by Robert Brian Wilson, who's now 18 and was clearly getting plenty of protein in that orphanage, probably eating rats or the other kids, man, who knows. He's crazy enough. Gets himself a job working at a toy store, just in time for Christmas. Now, if you've been following along so far, there's probably a lot of reasons where you could see that this isn't a good idea. There's one scene where they dress Billy up as Santa, brilliant. And it's one of the most uncomfortably hilarious things I've seen in a while. I get that he grew up in an orphanage, but there's got to be a point where telling people what happened to you has got to be easier than this. I mean, I get that it was the early 80s and therapy wasn't really quite the bee's knees, but come on, all this could have been avoided.
What's the matter with you? Stop it. Stop kicking. Do you have any idea what you're doing? You're being naughty. Right on Santa's lap. I don't bring toys to naughty children. I punish them severely.
Sure knows how to handle kids. He's great, isn't he?
Christmas Eve finally arrives, and the boss decides to have their Christmas party right in the store, right then and there. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like this. Every Christmas party I've ever been to, they're always kind of like, they throw it on like some random weekday when like half the employees still have to work. It's like it's some weird hour. They're like, all right, we're gonna have a bar, but y'all have to pay for your own drinks. It's like the shitty, it's like a step up from like when management gives you pizza and they're like, here you go, boost morale. But two of his coworkers decide to go do some very un-Catholic activities in the back room, which leads to Billy seeing yet another assault, which brings up all the trauma, and he finally breaks. Billy is no more. Now it's just Killer Santa. What'd I say? Protein, man. Look at that shit. He's just one-handed, that dude. That's crazy. Billy at this point just decides to go on a rampage, roaming around like he's the Manchurian Candidate. He kills off every worker in the store, one with a bow and arrow, the most Christmassy of weapons for sure, and then heads off into the neighborhood. But one of the best kills in the entire movie is when Billy stumbles upon these idiots in the woods after they steal some sleds from some kids. He just clotheslines this dude with an axe, and yet the body makes it all the way down the hill still. That's the good stuff, man. That's what we're here for. Another unfortunate soul he comes across is Linnea Quigley, who most people probably know as Trash from The Return of the Living Dead, one of my favorite Halloween movies of all time. Here, she's a babysitter, which, if horror movies have taught me anything, is one of the deadliest career paths you could possibly have. She gets impaled on a set of deer antlers. Again, it's great stuff. I don't know what to say. Most of which I can't show you because, well, it's Linnea Quigley and she likes to be naked, so YouTube doesn't like that kind of thing. There is one scene around this part of the movie where Billy stumbles upon the little girl that Linnea was babysitting that I actually kind of like. It doesn't come across as campy. It's actually kind of haunting. Billy asks the girl if she's been good.
Have you been good? Or have you been naughty?
As if he's trying to decide what to do with her. And when he decides she's like worthy, he gifts her a bloody box cutter and then wanders off. There's a weird sincerity to this moment. Also one of the parts that Siskel and Ebert had a really big problem with. But all these victims are just pit stops on the path to Billy's ultimate destination. He's headed back to the orphanage. Mother Superior needs to be punished, and she loved to tell Billy that punishment was a good thing. But the cops get there first, though, and they jump the gun a bit because they end up accidentally killing a deaf pastor who just happened to be dressed as Santa.
Get away from me!
One of my favorite quirks about old like horror movies from the 80s and like 90s is like the incompetent cop. Like, this is fucking hilarious. It's not quite as funny as like when the cops drive their cop car into that random dude in Halloween 2 and blow him up against an ambulance. Like, it's not that level of funny, but it is still pretty funny. Billy ultimately fails, and you'd think that would be the end of it. But this movie made money, and you gotta remember, Billy had a little brother. But that's a video for another time.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
So was Silent Night, Deadly Night bad enough to warrant the level of backlash it got in 1984? No, it really wasn't. And it wasn't even really the movie itself that parents were protesting, it was the ad campaign. There was a woman named Kathleen Eberhard who saw the ads and decided to create a group known as Citizens Against Movie Madness in an effort to nationally protest the movie.
Many parents were shocked that a movie about a maniacal Santa Claus would be shown at Christmas time. Well, now it's the month of May, and the film's producer is trying again. The new advertising campaign plays up the earlier controversy about the film, when angry parents picketed theaters where it played, and the critics took offense.
Now, this eventually had a snowball effect that eventually led to some theaters just outright refusing to even show it. And once the Siskel and Ebert review aired on TV, that was pretty much the final nail in the coffin. Or so you'd think. It always happens with movies like this, when you have like the government or parents or somebody telling you not to watch something, when people treat a movie like it's one of the worst things they've ever seen and they're like, you do not watch that movie, what's going to happen? We're going to fucking watch that movie. So this movie didn't really do good in theaters, but you can bet your ass it did really good when it came to VHS, and all the people who weren't allowed to go see it in theaters were able to just rent it from the video store. And it's kind of funny that a movie that parents were protesting to try to get canceled ended up becoming a franchise that has like, what, 4 sequels now and 2 remakes, one that's like just around the corner if it's not already out now. Now, whether this movie deserved 4 sequels and a bunch of remakes, that's debatable. I hope you all have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate this time of year. Hopefully the lighting doesn't look too bad. I wanted to make it look as Christmassy as I possibly could, and unfortunately all I have is LED lights, so we're working with what we got. Also, I have a new mic, so I'm hoping that this sounds okay. Trying out some new stuff. I apologize that it's been 4 months since I did the last video. Life happened. I'm depressed. You know, it's hard to sometimes try to find the will or the motivation to get in front of this camera and talk to it. I'm trying to be better about it. I really am, because I have a lot of ideas that I want to get through, but it's hard to try to find the motivation to do it. So for those of you who have stuck around for as long as you have and continue to watch this crap, even though I keep disappearing on you, I sincerely thank you. That means a lot. Hopefully the next video doesn't take as long to come out as this one did. And I think the next one's going to be Godzilla themed. I think that's what I'm aiming for. It's not going to be movies though, because Toho doesn't like it when you talk about their movies. So but it is going to be Godzilla themed, I think. Don't quote me on that. Someone's going to quote me on that. The next video, they're going to leave it in the comments and be like, you said the next one was going to be a Godzilla video. And it's going to be some fucking... See you guys in the next one.